Welcome back. We are now in section number 7, and we're going to talk about the item location form. And in this teaching, you will learn why this form is important to your household. So download it if you haven't done it already. You'll find it below. This is your item location form. And you will see that there are 2 columns. One column is important items, and the second column is where will they be stored. Why is this form included in this toolkit? Because so many times I'm working with clients that have items in a room or in an area that absolutely make no sense. And remember, we went back at the beginning and we did the purpose of every room. So that's where this is important. If there's an item in a room that has no purpose, the item doesn't serve the purpose of the room, it needs to go where it belongs. But so many times a client will say to me, but if I move it, I'll never remember where it is. I need it there. I did have a client that we did a lot of work in various rooms of the house. And in the dining room, which she really wasn't using much, but it was a lovely, 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 lovely house. And in the dining room, she was storing all the gifts that she needed to give to family members or whatever, months down the road. They weren't like within the next week or so. And I had found a place in another room where we could have put those items, but she was insistent, no, I'll forget that they're there. Because in her mind, she knew where they were. They were in the dining room, they were staying in the dining room, and she was going to go into the dining room to get the items. So what you would do, and what I would do in that case, she was not for this at all, and she would not budge. But in this case, or in another case where I've had other people, or other clients, we have moved it to its appropriate spot, and they said it made sense to them, but they were concerned that they would forget where it is. Then they're going to use this form. So, an important document that may have been kept in the kitchen and should be in the office file cabinet or something. You're going to list the item, and then you're going to put where it is now permanently stored, so that when you go looking for the item, you could just go to this form, because your mind is used to where it's been, and we're trying to create a new habit. We're trying to create a system where things are in its place, things have a place, and they're in their proper place. But it might be hard because you'll have to be thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know where that item is anymore. And I don't want you to have to go through that. So as you remove items from a room and put it in their appropriate room, you're going to list it on this form and where it's going, so that you will be able to find it. And eventually, you won't. I know if there are important documents for my household, I know which file cabinet to go find them in, because that's where they are. I know when I'm looking for parts to, let's say, maybe I had to replace parts to my faucet in my kitchen. It came with more parts than I needed, but I saved them in case those parts go. I stick them in a little Ziploc bag. I label what it is, and I have a little compartment in my basement in a little, plastic drawer thing that have those kinds of things. So I know where to go get them. I know where to go get the batteries that I need for my house. So things like that. So that's what this is for. Really for items that you're afraid you're not going to remember where they are, because we're going to put them in their proper place. And I don't want you pulling your hair out. So download the form. You can just, put it in the binder. And when you get to the room that you're working on and you find that you're removing those items, put it on the form. Okay? So I am looking forward to seeing you in our next video. Happy organizing.